It's not writing, but it records the history. In Chinese embroidery, a needle is a paintbrush and a piece of thread is a color, with which the contours of the world are sketched and the hues of emotions are brought out. In fact, what we call embroidery today was not initially an independent art form. It was combined with colored drawings. It eventually became an independent art form. According to historical records, Chinese embroidery appeared as early as the 21st century BC, when the ancient Chinese made such patterns as the sun, the moon, stars, mountains, dragons, and fires on their upper outer garments and on the lower part of their robes, applying the needle, the thread, and colors. Such patterns on clothes have been handed down throughout the Chinese history until the end of the Qing dynasty, and the basic patterns remained largely unchanged. The earliest embroidery that we can see today are the pieces unearthed in the #1 tomb at Mashan Hill, central China's Hubei province, which could be dated back to the spring and autumn period. On them, red and black patterns of tigers were embroidered with interlocked threads. The materials and threads were coarse, but the embroidery work was delicate and smooth. It's a masterpiece among the embroideries in the ancient Chu kingdom, which covered today's Hubei and Hunan provinces. From the Mawangdui tomb of the Han Dynasty in Changsha, capital of Hunan, were discovered 40 embroidered clothes, on which are a dozen embroidered patterns: dragons, phoenixes, tigers, and some unknown birds, all mysterious and elegant.
基本上，它表现的是对龙、对凤，都是用在服装上的，都是用在服装上的。它主要的绣工，主要的绣的方法是辫子绣，或者叫做辫子骨，就是现在的我们平常所讲的这个辫绣，有的叫套针。那么这一种是最古老的，可以说是最古老的。从这个西周到两汉，那么一共1800年，都主要这种针法占着统治地位。
The embroideries, having been in slumber underground for centuries, display the extravagant lifestyles of the ancient aristocrats and recorded the achievements of folk artists. Chinese embroidery has developed into 4 major schools: the Suzhou School, Hunan School, Cantonese School, and Sichuan School. The Suzhou School embroidery was centered in Suzhou of East China's Jiangsu province. It developed into maturity in the Song dynasty and had such a size in the Qing dynasty that there were a forest of embroidery workshops and more than 10,000 workers in them. Since the Ming and Qing dynasties, the mainstream of Chinese embroidery has been pursuing a similarity to paintings. Masters of the Suzhou school imitated famous figures, landscape, bird, and flower paintings of various dynasties. Works of the school can be divided into 2 kinds, one for artistic appreciation and the other for practical use. Typical of the former are the exquisite portraits of the Buddha. The latter, functional Suzhou school embroideries include screens and hanging scrolls put up in studies and boudoirs. Embroideries of the Suzhou school are known for their fine stitches. A single piece of thread is often split into several thin locks, 48 locks at most, and works created in this way are delicate, closely woven, even, smooth, and glossy. The magical double embroidery was invented by the Suzhou school. Patterns on both sides of the silk cloth are brought out by needlework simultaneously.
它的色彩就比较的写实、柔和、细致，及这个刺绣的大成的地位，比较全、比较精，这个是它就有这么个特色。
Modern embroidery artists have borrowed light effects from Western paintings and photography and developed the portrait embroidery. The random needle embroidery, which originated in the 1930s, added to Suzhou school embroidery's power of expression as it successfully conveyed the inner world of the portrayed figure. Suzhou school embroidery has evolved from the Gu-style embroidery, which was created by the Gu family in Shanghai and represented the highest level of upper-class women's accomplishments. Suzhou embroidery, moreover, developed the Gu embroidery and has, therefore, its own unique features. An embroidered flower gives off fragrance, a bird sings songs, a tiger runs, and a human figure is vividly expressive as the praise for a Hunan school embroidery goes. During the reign of the Qing Emperor Jia, women embroidery artists gathered in Changsha, capital of central China's Hunan province, and created a style known for its precise needlework and graceful patterns. They were the founders of the Hunan school. After generations of artistic explorations, artists of the school have developed a style marked by simplicity and grace. It has the effects of transparency thanks to the thin cloth, as well as possesses the beauty of the painting. Embroidery artists of the Hunan school bring out the images with outlines and then add some light effects. They use the blank part boldly to achieve a natural, simple style. Double embroidery of the Hunan school gives a full play of the needlework's power of expression through the accurate outlines and clearly defined layers. On this basis, the artists created a unique form of double embroidery. They managed to embroider totally different patterns, colors, and needlework on both sides of the silk cloth. And more surprisingly, the portrayed figures' poses and colors change with different viewing angles. Can you see what kinds of threads make such a brightly colored work? The piece is typical of the Cantonese school of embroidery, which is known for its rich, decorative style. The school's golden embroidery is made when artists sketch the contours of designed patterns first with ordinary threads, and then refine the work with golden threads. The piece, titled Lotus and Carp, is typical of the Sichuan school of embroidery. The artists vividly depict the carp's hard and smooth head, crystal eyes, and numerous scales. More than 30 kinds of needlework were involved in the creation of one fish. More than 100 kinds of needlework techniques are applied in the Sichuan embroidery.
手绣传统织法有123种，到现在呢，经过这个我们慢慢的创新，又增加了很多种。就是手绣针法呢，它是保存在这个绣工这个脑子里边，它没有一个图稿，它就是一个线条，就像这个瑜伽这个线条一样的。那么就靠你自己怎么想。比如我能达到这个水平，那么我想怎么做？比如做一朵花在上边，就不要再来画一画啊，再来怎么样？我想怎么做，就把那个线给它一架起来，架起来自己就拉几个方块，那么在这个9分钟里边就想随心所欲的想怎么就做。我想做钱，那么就做钱；想做一朵花，就做一朵花。那做出来，这就是手绣的铁有德的针法。
The lotus and carp scales were embroidered with a special technique that brings about a glimmering and three-dimensional effect through the varied arrangements of threads. There are no waves, yet the carp seems to be swimming lively. Since ancient times, artists of the Sichuan school have placed a stress on the spirit of each work. Besides neat needlework, they demand the liveliness of the subject. And to achieve it, a work has to be done at one go. Suffering has endowed the Miao people with a strong character, which is shown in their arts. We can see the impact clearly in their embroideries. Besides decorative patterns, the Miaos embroider on their clothes the origin of the ethnic group and the glory of their ancestors. Thus, their clothes were called historical books to wear. Legend goes that a woman chief of a Miao tribe named Lan Zhan first recorded her journey with threads. She embroidered her clothes with yellow threads after getting across the Yellow River, and with blue threads for the Yangtze River. And her dress was embroidered from the collar to the bottom, where she finally arrived at the place that the tribe chose to be their permanent home. Hence, all Miao girls wear beautifully embroidered clothes. The Miao-style embroideries have meticulous compositions and a sharp contrast of colors. They are often about the adoration for life and the origin of the Miaos. The dragons are an expression of the Miao people's simplicity and creativity. Subjects of Miao's embroideries also include some strange-looking combinations of human and animal bodies, and the bodies of humans and plants. Integration of the images of human beings and animals, and humans and plants, show that the Miao people worship the things that have strong reproductive power. Or, to put it another way, the Miao worship of reproduction finds expression in the needlework of the Miao girls. Besides the 4 major schools of embroideries, there are a variety of folk embroideries, which cater to both the material and spiritual needs of people. They are mainly about wishes for a happy life. Folk embroideries made on bed covers and curtains often depict scenes from Chinese operas. Like this one from a popular love story titled Legend of the White Snake. The beautiful Lady White and her honest husband, Shu Xian, were embroidered on the red velvet with a blooming peony and magpie between them. The Chinese believe the bird is a messenger of luck. A good wish is expressed in the work. An embroidered pouch, a token of love, appears often in ancient Chinese romances. The embroidery on this pouch tells of the romance titled "Picking Up the Jade Bracelet." Embroidery is also applied to such daily necessities as underwear, handkerchiefs, and pillows. Imagination and the artistic conceiving power of the embroidery artists find expression in these articles. In the ancient agrarian society, where men did the farming and women did the weaving, all girls had to show their accomplishment, which included embroidery. For girls of the upper class, who were seldom allowed to get out of the house, to do the embroidery was an important way to kill time and the only way to make artistic expressions. Before marriage, girls spent much time on embroidering quilt and pillow covers and shoe vamps, and showed their works on the marriage day to win praise and respect. Now we are getting far away from the traditional craft of embroidery, and we can hardly tell an embroidery done by hand from one done by machine. Touch it, and the silky feel will leave a mark in your mind.